We're going to start the practice standing on our mats today. So you can just stand with your feet together, so the big toe mounds on your feet touching. Maybe your big toes will touch, maybe they won't, and your heels might touch and they might not touch. So your feet are as together as they're going to be based on your own anatomy. And then let's just lift the toes, spread the toes nice and wide, and sit them back down again. Finding our center of balance, you might want to sway a little bit. Rolling the shoulders open. And let's find a nice comfortable posture here. You might want to check your pelvis is well aligned, so you might tend towards tilting your pelvis forwards or tilting your pelvis back. And you want to just maybe see if you can tilt forwards and back a little bit. Moving your hip bones forwards and back until you find where is that happy medium place. Really nice alignment here, and we are basically holding ourselves a little bit with our tummy so that our lower back is not having to deal with all the stress of trying to hold ourselves up and to sort of face that compression that can happen when we let our abs go. We'll be holding ourselves nice and comfortably with our abdominal muscles. Drawing some energy up from the earth, so drawing up, lifting up through the kneecaps, hugging the muscles of the thighs into the thigh bones, lifting the lower belly in and up, opening up through the chest, feeling an upward current of energy pulling, lifting up through the torso, pulling the crown of the head up towards the ceiling, and a downward current of energy through the back body. Just resting the arms by the sides, and you can go ahead and close your eyes. Just taking a couple of moments here, tuning into the sensations of your body. You're just scanning through the body and noticing how it feels to be alive in your body at this moment. There might be sensations of tingles or numbness, hot or cold, pain, or any other nice sensation. Does not be pain anywhere in your body. Start to move. Now we're going to start a little bit of a flow. We're going to do a little bit of core work and I guess a little bit of everything. A little bit of back opening, a little bit of hip opening. So let's inhale, raised hands, exhale. We're just going to fold all the way forwards and we're going to hang out here for a couple of moments in our ragdoll pose. So you can keep your feet together or ideally hip distance apart. I'm just trying to figure out which way to go to be sitting properly. And what we're doing in our ragdoll pose is just completely relaxing the upper body. So we're allowing the upper body to release. We're going to be releasing any tension in the upper body. And you can hold on to opposite elbows here and just sway from side to side. Make sure you have a nice generous bend in your knees. And you can sway forward and back as well. And same with your head. You can just nod your head yes, no. Just allowing any tension, any gripping in the upper body to go. This can be really good if you have anxiety. It can help your breathing because we are releasing and softening that kind of chest area and the belly area. So you're not like crunching in that area, holding in that area anymore. The shoulders are loose and relaxed. The head is feeling heavy like a bowling ball, just drawing down with gravity towards the mat. Taking 3 nice big breaths here. let's take the hands underneath the feet. So literally we're going to step our feet so that our toes are pressing into the wrist creases. We still have a good bend in the knees, the belly is resting against the knees. Sorry, the belly is resting against the thighs, and then we're going to press into the heels and just straighten up the legs as much as they're going to straighten for you today. If that's not totally straight, that's fine. Just until you're feeling a bit of a stretch there in the hamstrings. Releasing the hands, we're just going to heel toe the feet out so they're about as wide as the mat and allow the hips to come down. And we're going to take the left hand. So first of all, let's do this. Let's take the hands together at the chest, pressing the palms together and pressing the knees out away from each other. So we're using the elbows to press the knees out away from each other to get a little bit of stretch in the inner thighs, the inner legs here. Our hands are together at the chest, and also our back is not rounding. We're nice and straight in our back, rolling the shoulders back, drawing the chest forward and up. Going to be a bit of a theme of today's class. Really good for your posture, for your breath. So we're here, and then we're just going to keep that pressing out of the knees, but at the same time we're going to take the left hand down, rest the left hand on the floor, and take the right arm up to the ceiling on the inhale. And exhaling back in, swapping hands, right hand down, left arm up. Inhaling. And we're going to do the same again on each side. Lovely. From here we're going to come to hands and knees. We're going to go for our cat and cow pose. We're going to start really nice and easy. So the fingers are spread wide, the knees are underneath the hips. And we're going to just drop the belly nice and gentle, looking up. Inhaling here, rounding the back on the exhale, looking towards the navel. We're just going to do our first few cat and cows. Just really connecting with the breath. So your pace is going to be dictated by your breath. Then we're going to deepen our range of motion a little bit more. So we're really dropping the belly, rolling the shoulders back, taking the chest forward, looking up, engaging the back muscles. And as we exhale, we're rounding. We're hugging that belly into the spine, really drawing that belly in. So we're actually starting to engage the core muscles a little bit here. So we're doing the same movement, same cat and cow. It's just that we're extending a little bit our range of motion in a way that's still comfortable for us. But we're starting to turn on those muscles a little bit. Recruit a few more muscle fibers here. Starting to wake up our core area. So the back muscles and the tummy muscles mainly here. Center now, and we're going to do some hip circles. You're just circling your hips out as wide as is comfortable for you today. And reversing our circles. here we're going to do a little bit more core activation. So we're going to inhale to fill the belly full of air. Nice and soft belly. And on the exhale, we're going to draw the belly in towards the spine. In and up. Now we're holding the belly in nice and tight here towards the spine. And we're just breathing normally, and we're going to lift the knees off the mat just a couple of inches, and we'll take 5 full breaths here with our core nice and engaged. If you notice at all that, ideally you can stay here, but if you notice that you've lost that core connection, you can just come down, you can reset. On your exhale, you're drawing the belly in, nice and firm with your belly, and then you can just come up again off your knees. Let's rest the knees down. We're going to go for a little side body stretch. So we're going to take the left shin perpendicular, so straight out to the side perpendicular, and then the right leg is going straight back so that the right foot is in line with like the middle of your mat, if that makes any sense. Maybe it doesn't. And we're going to take the right arm up to the ceiling for a big stretch, and then continue that arm all the way up and overhead, so you're reaching through the right fingertips and you're pressing through the right foot. So check out your body and check and see, is there a nice line between my back leg and my right fingertips? Sometimes when I do this, people's legs are like in front or behind, so just have a look. I can't see you, so I trust that you're in a nice line. And sure, look, if you're not in a nice line, at least you're in a comfortable position for you. From here, we're going to start to come up, but we're not just going to push ourselves up with our hand. We're going to try and see how slowly and controlled we can come up. We're engaging the core muscles, we're coming up onto the fingertips, nice and slowly using our core to come up. Right hand down to right leg, left arm up overhead. Inhaling here for a nice side body stretch. And exhaling back down to all fours. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So taking the right shin parallel and then, perpendicular. Left foot back, left arm comes up and overhead. So there's a line between my left foot and the left fingertips. And so I'm pressing into the outer edge of my left foot, pressing that into the ground, and I'm reaching actively through my left fingertips. So I'm feeling really alive through the whole body. Now I'm going to have to turn on my core. So hugging those belly muscles in towards the spine, and then coming up onto my fingertips. Really engaging. Left arm down to left leg, right arm up overhead. Inhaling here and exhaling, cartwheeling back down to all fours. Super. So from here, let's take the right foot up between the hands. And you might need to squeeze it up a bit further, just as much as you need to feel a nice stretch here in the left, top of the left thigh when you push your hips forwards. We're just stretching out a little bit in the top of the left thigh. And then we're rolling back onto the heel of the right foot, stretch a little bit in the right hamstring, so back of the right leg. Once more stretching top of left leg. And back of right leg. And we're planting the right foot. Planting the left hand. Right fingers up to the ceiling on the inhale. Exhaling back down. Back to all fours. Same on the other side. We're taking left foot up between the hands. Maybe scooching it forward if you need a little bit more distance between your foot and your knee so that you can feel a really nice stretch when you push your hips forwards. And coming back onto that left heel to feel a stretch in the back of the left leg. And again, your position is going to depend on your flexibility. So, you know, you might need to have your hands back here because you're not super flexible, or you might be on your fingertips like me because you're not super flexible, or you might be down on your palms because you are more flexible. Whatever is fine. Okay, pushing forwards again, a little bit of a stretch. And back one last time. Rolling back onto that left foot, planting the right palm, inhaling left fingertips to the ceiling, exhaling back down. Now let's step that left foot back to meet the right, and we're in our down dog, so we can just get nice and comfortable in our down dog. Maybe pedal out the feet a little bit, bending into the knees, pressing into the fleshy part of the hand, reaching our hips up and back. Nice long stretch through the arms, through the shoulders, and pushing down a little bit through the heels. And we start a little bit of a flow. So let's step the right foot up between the hands, dropping the left knee, pointing the toes, inhaling low lunge, exhaling hands down, stepping to the top of the mat, inhaling halfway lift, exhaling folding forwards, inhaling raised hands, exhaling hands to heart, inhaling raised hands, exhaling diving forwards, inhaling halfway lift, exhaling back to plank. We're going to take 5 breaths in plank. Just hugging that belly in towards the spine, squeezing through the core area, even your glutes, pushing back through your heels, pressing up through your hands. And you can drop your knees if you want to. Either way, you're going to take your elbows back towards your body and just slow and controlled, let your chest come to the mat. Inhaling cobra and exhaling back to down dog. Stepping now the left foot between the hands, dropping the right knees, pointing the toes, inhaling to low lunge, exhaling hands down, stepping to the top of the mat, inhaling halfway lift, exhaling folding forwards, inhaling to raised hands, exhaling hands to heart. Inhaling raised hands, exhaling diving forwards, inhaling halfway lift, exhaling back to plank. We'll take 5 breaths here. Let's just make our movement through life easier and protect against low back injury by creating a stronger core. Lowering the knees if you want to, coming down to the mat on the exhale, inhaling to cobra, and exhaling back to down dog. Now stepping the right foot up between the hands, dropping the left knee, pointing the toes. This time we are going to take the right fingertips up towards the ceiling for an open twist. And you have the option to bend the back knee and hold on to the back foot if you want to. And you also have the option to come on to the outer edge of the right foot. Maybe letting that left knee drift open a little bit, if that feels like a nice stretch in your hips. Let's come back to center. Step it back to plank. I might not let you take any more breaths here or make you take any more breaths here. We'll just go ahead with our vinyasa. Inhaling cobra and exhaling down dog. Now taking the left foot up between the hands, dropping the right knee, pointing the toes. Right hand comes down, left fingertips up towards the ceiling for an open twist this side. And again, the option is there if you want to hold on to the back foot and maybe let that left knee drift open a little bit. Either way, here or here, we're just thinking about opening our chest towards the ceiling. So our chest is like a magnet pulling up towards the ceiling. And gently releasing back down, stepping the left foot back into a plank. And from here, we're going to lower down to vinyasa. Inhaling cobra and exhaling back to down dog. Looking up between the hands now. Let's step the right foot up, and this time we're going to come into a high lunge. So we're leaving the back foot where it is. Inhaling, raised arms. I was going to say raised arms, raised hands, raised arms. Let's just check that we're supporting ourselves really nicely here, that our feet are as wide as they need to be for us. So if we're wobbling, we're going to take them a bit wider, that our muscles are hugging into the bone to support us here in our legs, and really nice and crucially that our abs are kind of turned on, so we're holding ourselves here and we're not just letting our lower back take all the weight here. And that we're not sort of favouring flexibility so much over strength, that we're kind of just relaxing our muscles. We're nice and holding on to ourselves. We have this nice balance of strength and flexibility that's going to see us through our lives feeling really super. Let's take the elbows down to the shoulders. Goalpost arms. Drawing the shoulders back towards the back of the room. Drawing the elbows back. And taking the arms behind, interlacing the fingers, drawing those hands down and away from you. Bending maybe a bit more into the front leg if you want to. Option to stay here or option to take a warrior 3 now that we're here. You could just press into the front leg and then maybe allow those toes to be pointing straight down to the floor behind you as you lift through the back glute, rather than just lifting through the foot, yeah. Either way, we're trying to keep our hips level, so one hip is not in front of the other, they're more or less level. And we're flying. Big step back into our high lunge. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhaling, hands down, stepping back to plank. And we're going to vinyasa. All the way back to down dog. Looking up between the hands, let's step the left foot there. We're going to do our high lunge now on this side. So just inhaling up to raised hands. Nice and stable in our pose here. Strong in the core. Notice if your back knee is kind of hanging down too much. What does too much mean? If it's hanging down, it feels like a lot, it's kind of relaxing. Lift a little bit through your back thigh, through your back glute. So now you have nice engagement through the whole body. Taking the arms down to goalpost arms, so elbows in line with the shoulders. Drawing those shoulders, those elbows back towards the back of the room. training our body to do the opposite of what it maybe does all day at a desk or computer or device, if that's your life, or even on a steering wheel. And let's take the arms back, this time interlacing the fingers but taking the different thumb on top. Taking the arms back behind you, so we're reaching back and up. Notice if you're sort of sagging here, try and hold yourself nice and strong. You might want to bend deeper into your left leg. If it feels hard, like maybe your leg is shaking a little bit, that's okay. If it feels sore, that's not okay. So you can come out of it if it's sore, but not if it's hard. Okay. From here, you can just stay in your lunge, or you could take your warrior 3. So you can take your hands together, putting your weight into your left leg, and then the right leg, you're just going to take those toes off the ground. And as you allow your torso to come forwards, your leg is lifting as well, your back leg. You can see my right hip is lifting. I'm going to try to square my hips so that one is not higher than the other one. And I'm pushing my heel back towards the back of the room and my toes straight down towards the mat. And I'm shaking. Big step back, high lunge. Exhaling to vinyasa. But here we're actually going to take a pause when we get down to the mat, because I want to do 2 things. So first of all, let's do Shalabhasana. So let's just take the arms. You can't see them, but my arms are straight out in front of me, as if I'm trying to reach something with my fingertips that's far away from me. And we're going to lift as much of the body as possible off the mat. So my arms are raised, shoulders, legs. And release. Scooch back a little bit. I'm going to take my right arm, my right forearm, and place it diagonally across the mat. And then I'm going to bend my left knee and hold on to the left foot. And then I'm just going to draw that left foot towards me as much as I need to feel a nice stretch in my left quad, front of the left leg. So if you're here, that's fine, just as close as you need to. And if you're feeling okay, you feel like you need a little bit more, you might even draw it in as far where you're able to then send your fingertips in the same direction as your toes, if you can see that. And your left elbow is pointing up towards the ceiling. Another tip is, the more that you lift your chest up off the mat, the more intense it is in the hip flexor. And the more that you rest your chest down, the less of a stretch you'll get. Oh, foot cramp. Let's relax that and go to the other side. So now left forearm is diagonal. And again, you're drawing the knee in, drawing the foot towards your bum as much as you feel like you need to in your body. Let's release that. Now we're going to go for a bow pose. So we're going to bend both the knees, send the arms back, hold on to the feet. If you can't hold on to your feet, do another Shalabhasana again. Otherwise, we're going to set ourselves up by not having the feet out too wide or too narrow. Same with the knees. The knees are not super out or super in. So our knees and our feet are both hip distance apart. Let's kick the legs back towards the back of the room. The more we kick them, the more we're going to rise up into our bow pose. And I can't do this while talking. let's just stack one forearm on top of the other. Allow the forehead to relax down on the forearms and shake the hips out. Using your breath to release any tension. And I'm going to see if I can do one more pose, or if we need to wrap it up, depending on what time it is, 30. I can do one more thing. Okay, so where were we? We were on the ground. From here, we're just going to come up and back into down dog. And let's take the right foot up between the hands, pivot on the left foot, pivot on the right foot, take the arms to the middle, and now we're in a wide-legged forward fold. So our heels are a bit wider than the toes. Taking the hands to the hips, inhaling up. And now we're in our standing wide-legged pose. Inhaling, raised hands. Let's hold on to the opposite wrist and just pull that wrist up and over. Back to center. Pull the opposite wrist up and over. Back to center. Okay, super. Let's use this lovely length that we have in our forward fold now. Inhale to lengthen up through the upper body. And exhale, just hinging from the hips, coming to parallel. Inhaling back up again. Rolling shoulders open, taking the hands and interlacing them behind you. Taking the hands down and away from you. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhaling, hinging forwards. And just allowing those arms to follow you. Allowing the weight of the hands to draw the arms overhead, I guess. Mine don't seem to go very far, but yours can go further. Whatever feels okay for you today. And then you can uninterlace your fingers and just allow your hands to rest down on the mat. In line with the arches of your feet. With each inhale, you're lengthening through the spine from the tailbone up towards the crown of the head. And with each exhale, you're just softening into the pose. Now let's bend a little bit into the right knee. Take the hands either side of the right foot. And we're putting our weight into the right foot. And we're just coming up onto the heel of the left foot. So toes pointing towards the sky. A little bit of a stretch. Back through center. We're doing the same thing on the other side. Putting our weight into the left foot. Right toes coming up towards the ceiling. We can start to do this a little bit with our breath. Inhaling center. Exhaling to the side. Inhaling center. Exhaling to the side. Now just to confuse you a little bit more. When we're doing this, can you do it without raising your hips up like this? Can you do it keeping your hips down low? In case you want a little bit more of a challenge. And I hear you saying, no, that's too easy. Okay, then you can take your hands together. And then we're going for low hips, no hands. Once more on each side. I think that might be even. Okay. From here, let's just sit back elegantly and take a wide-legged forward fold. So taking your hips or legs as wide as is okay for you, is comfortable enough. Rolling the shoulders back, squeezing a potato between your shoulder blades, reaching the arms back. Inhaling to lengthen, exhaling. We're just seeing how far forward we can get, and it might be 0.5 millimeter, and that's fine. Our whole legs are pressing into the mat or the ground, and our toes are pointing back towards our face. Let's just exhale, relax over the legs. You can either have your arms out in front if that's more comfortable for you, or you can run them along your legs. Maybe give your feet a massage. I love you, feet. You are wonderful. You support me every day. Thank you, feet. Rolling up nice and slow. We're going to do a regular forward fold, so taking the feet together for Paschimottanasana. Rolling the shoulders back. We're really lifted up through the torso, squeezing a potato between our shoulder blades. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, folding over the legs. And your arms just going to rest wherever they're going to rest. Again, maybe, I was going to say enjoying your feet, but I don't know if that sounds wrong. Thanking our bodies. So nice to be healthy and able-bodied. Just being able to enjoy the sensations of the body. Rolling up out of our forward fold. We're going to do a couple more floor-based poses before Shavasana. So we're just going to roll it back and we're going to go for our happy babies, taking the knees into the chest, opening the legs a bit wide. I don't know if this is the best angle for a video. Holding on to the feet. It's probably not the best thing. I'm doing mine the other way. We're in our happy baby pose. And we're just chilling out in our happy, that's not better, in our happy baby pose. Oh my gosh. And so we're just going to be pulling the feet towards us as we actively also push the feet away from us. So we carry a little bit of resistance there. You might want to have a little bit of stillness. You might want to rock back and side to side. You might want to stretch out your legs a little bit. Anything is good here in your happy baby pose. Ananda Balasana, your blissful, blissful baby pose. You can try and get your knees down towards your shoulders. And let's relax the feet down to the mat, hip distance apart. We're just going to do 3 bridges. I'm going to do mine with my arms overhead. You can do whatever you like. I can't see you. Pressing the whole back into the mat and then drawing the hips up. Nice and slow. Up, 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 up. Pushing in through the heels. And coming back down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Nice and slow. We do this twice more. Let's get set up for our twist. So we're going to take the arms out wide either side. Let's cross the right knee over the left. Bump the hips over to the right and allow the knees to fall down to the left as we gaze over the right shoulder. Using the breath here to send that signal to the muscles. It's time to release. let's take the knees back to center and get set up for the other side, crossing the left knee over the right, bumping the hips to the left and allowing the knees to drift over to the right as you gaze over your left shoulder. Again, sending that breath through the body. Nice full breaths. And just using your exhale to release any residual tension. And we're going to take it back to the center. And we'll finish with the bliss breath because I think this is maybe a nice thing to do instead of Shavasana, because you can just do your own Shavasana after. You can have your arms down. Actually, you're going to have to take, okay, forget about your arms for a second. Pretend I didn't mention arms. You're just going to lie here on our mat anywhere you like. And we're going to start to tune into the breath. The bliss breath is literally just following the breath through the body. So we're going to start with the nostrils. Our attention is on the nostrils and we're feeling that cool air at the opening of the nostrils. Comes in, it's being warmed through the nasal passage. And the breath is going down through the throat. And then the breath is going to enter into the chest area, so take the hands to the chest, just really gently resting our hands on the chest. And we're just perceiving the movement in the chest that's created by the breath. I don't say rise and fall because I really perceive this opening like a balloon. So it's rising up and out, and then it's contracting down and in. So I'm just perceiving here the movement in the chest, the upper chest here. Taking your hands there to the ribs then, so underneath the breast area, and just feeling the ribs, noticing the movement in the ribs with the breath. Taking the hands down to the belly. Just visualizing the breath entering and leaving the belly. You can assign a color to the breath if that's helpful for you. So you could imagine golden breath, a pink breath, whatever you like. Taking the hands to the side body here, and just noticing the expansion and contraction in the side body. And then taking the hands to the lower belly so that your thumbs are just underneath the belly button and your fingers are resting on the pubic bone. And noticing the rise or the expansion and contraction here of the pelvic muscles. So the palms of your hands are resting on the hip bones and your fingertips resting on your pubic bones. And these are attachment points for your pelvic floor as well. And now taking your arms out to the sides. And just visualizing the breath working its way all the way through your body, carrying air, carrying oxygen all the way through to the blood, using the blood to carry it through to all parts of the body, all the way down to your fingertips, down to your toes, through your head. Just feeling this real connection with your breath, with your prana, your life force. This will be a nice time to stop the video and take some minutes of Shavasana for yourself. Otherwise, we're going to do a full body stretch, bending into the knees, rolling over onto one side, taking a few breaths here. Pushing ourselves up to seated. And I'm just going to close the practice today by taking my hands together, taking my hands to my forehead in recognition of the energies and efforts of those who practice with me today, and to my own heart space in recognition of my own efforts and energies in this practice. Namaste. Thank you.